Pressing the whatchamacallit button. Okay, I guess we'll just have to edit it here. So, I took notes. So I have my laptop here, and we're gonna get into it. What is an inner child? The unconscious emotional part of you that holds on to early memories, experiences, and beliefs. This includes the vulnerable and childlike awe we experience as children, the excitement over the little things, and the joy you experience from your favorite childhood memories, shows, experiences, etc. When this is negatively impacted, especially due to traumatic experiences, this could lead up to feelings of anger, sadness, fear, and for some depression, all of which can last us up to a lifetime, following us into our adulthood if left unnoticed or worked through. So, with that, if one is unconscious of what may be triggering them, or what may be causing them to react certain ways, or be short-tempered in some cases, or be depressive in some cases, a lot of it stems from our childhood, and most of us don't even think about that or even are unaware of it, not to the fault of our own, and some of us are ignoring it. When it comes to childhood traumas, which is something that's very important to me and very important for all of us to learn, especially those who have went through trauma, essentially, especially in our earlier years, in our childhood, etc., it can lead to us having a lot of issues as adults, whether it's in a romantic relationships, work environments, home life. It doesn't just start and stop. It's something that we constantly experience if it's left unchecked. In psychology, the inner child refers to the unconscious part of our mind that is formed during our childhood. This part stores emotional memory, especially moments that were deeply impactful, whether nurturing or painful. And this is according to psychplus.org, citing our sources, because that's what we do. Shout out to school. Now, how does my inner child affect my adulthood? If you have had a positive upbringing in a good childhood, this can manifest as being more confident, secure, and feelings of safety going into your adulthood, which is ideal. So if that is your case, shout out to you, and I pray that you continue to experience that. If you're like some of us who have had negative experiences growing up, which is usually due to some form of trauma or a traumatic experience, this can manifest as anger, fear, shutting down once you feel unheard, feelings of unworthiness, feelings of inadequacy, even in love, depression, and addiction. Problems with understanding and expressing your emotions in a healthy way as well could be factors which could lead to this, which stems from a traumatic upbringing. Now, I definitely can relate to that, and this is partially why I'm doing this video, because we're healing our inner child, and today we're gonna paint and things like that excite me. And as I get more comfortable on this YouTube thing, I'll do different arts and crafts with you guys, and I hope that someone watching this, it helps them. Hopefully you learn a thing or two. And if you don't want to take my word from it, as my mom told me growing up, look it up. Don't just take my word for it. Don't just take anyone's word for anything. Look it up. Find your truth. Find the truth yourself. But that's why I'm stating my sources in case you wanted to dive deeper into that. What is inner child work? Inner child work is the process of acknowledging, understanding, and working through healing the wounds that stem from one's childhood experiences. This includes a continuous and lifelong process of consciously unlearning past behaviors and healing those past experiences by creating and adopting new positive, healthier technical difficulties. What is inner child work? Inner child work is the process of acknowledging, understanding, and working through healing the wounds that stem from one's childhood experiences. This includes a continuous and lifelong process of consciously unlearning past behaviors and healing those past experiences by creating and adopting new positive and healthier habits, reactions, and mechanisms. Where did this term inner child come from? The term inner child is rooted in the work of Carl Jung. He is one of the first people that can be cited in regards to the concept of what an inner child is and what inner child work may include. There are other people that have expanded upon that, of course, after him creating his book and writing in it. But as far as we know, this is one of the first, if not the first person to bring our attention towards this. So, the term inner child is rooted in the work of Carl Jung, a psychiatrist who explored the concepts of archetypes in psychology. Jung's work on archetypes included the divine child archetype, which laid the theoretical foundation for the inner child concept. The inner child is often seen as a semi-independent subpersonality that reflects the childlike aspects of an individual's personality, including memories and emotional layers from each stage of development. This concept has been explored in various therapeutic settings and self-help movements, emphasizing the importance of reconnecting with the inner child for personal healing and transformation. And this is cited to psychplus.com. And then here are some excerpts that I found from one of Jung's very popular books, Memories, Dreams, and Reflections. As a child, I felt myself to be alone, and I am still, because I know things and must hint at things which others apparently know nothing of, and for the most part do not want to know. So I chose this excerpt because this is him having self-realization. This is him starting to connect the dots as far as who he is as a person and how he sees himself in this world, as to feeling alone and feeling like, lonely and unheard and things of that sort. And taking the time to acknowledge that, which is something that a lot of people are scared to do. They don't want to do. And this is a judgment-free zone. If you are scared to do that, if you're scared to do that inner work, just know that, or even try to look at it in a different perspective. If you're comfortable with being in the same mindset, state of mind, place, environment, then by all means, keep doing what you're doing. But if you feel that urge to change, if you feel that urge to release, if you feel that urge to grow, then don't stop yourself from what's yours, because you can do it. You definitely can. And now we have another one. The sight of the child will arouse certain longings in an adult. Civilized persons' longings, which relate to unfulfilled desires and needs of those parts of the personality which have been blotted out of the total picture in favor of the adapted persona. This one stood out to me because this is something I'm kind of going through. And have been going through for a very long time. But since I've been working on my inner child, it's not easy per se, but it is getting easier to take that step and take that leap and to answer to that call that is burning in my stomach to do things like this. When I was a kid, oh boy, I wanted to be everything under the sun. I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to be a photographer. I wanted to be a model. I wanted to be a fashion designer. At one part in my life, I wanted to be a crime scene investigator. Then another time, when I was watching Lock Up a lot and a lot of investigation discovery, I wanted to be a correctional officer. My mom told me I was crazy. She was like, no. And this was when I was like 14, but the other dreams I've had since I was as young as 4. So I remember the first time my mom knew that I wanted to be on TV, we were watching America's Next Top Model, and that was my favorite show to watch growing up as a kid, and that's a show I still watch sometimes. You know, if I just need that, to tap into my inner child, honestly. And I pointed to the photographer, and I was like, Ma, I want to do that. And from there, she kept that in the back of her mind, and then when we moved to Florida, I went to an arts middle school, went to an arts high school, and my major in college was film and television. So it's something that I still do very much want to do. But of course, as you get older and you have more experiences in life, you may adapt, or you may have other skills that interest you. You may have other things to add to that, other assets. And that's not the only thing I want to do in this world. What I'm doing right now is a major part of what I want to do, which is helping people, teaching people, having a positive impact on this world, honestly. And I don't just want to limit myself to tarot cards, or just limit myself to making skits, or just limit myself to recording. Like, I want to do everything that my heart desires. I want to do everything that God has planted in my mind as a dream, as aspiration, as a thought, and for it to manifest into my reality. But the only way to do that is if I take action, is if I step up to the plate and do what needs to be done. So this is why I'm here. And so that's a little bit about that excerpt. And then here's this one, which is very important for me to include. I felt I began to see my parents with different eyes and to understand their cares and worries. For my father in particular, I felt compassion, less curiously enough for my mother. She always seemed to me to be the stronger of the two. Nevertheless, I always felt on her side when my father gave vent to his moody irritability. This necessity for taking sides was not exactly favorable to the formation of my character. In order to liberate myself from these conflicts, I fell into the role of a superior arbitrator who willy-nilly had to judge his parents. That caused a certain inflatness in me. My unstable self-assurance was increased and diminished at the same time. So this is a conscious memory that he has in regards to when he started to see things shift for him. And this is based off of how he grew up in being in a home with his parents and having to take sides, which is something a child should not have to do. I don't care what anybody tells you. People love to say, especially, well, I can only speak from the community I come from, being a Black Caribbean American person, they love to tell you to stay in the child's place. But then they want you to not stay in the child's place when they need you to do something, such as watch your younger siblings if you're the oldest. Or even if you're not the oldest, you could just be the oldest amongst the siblings that's left in the nest. Or watching over your siblings, doing things that children necessarily shouldn't have to do, or taking full responsibility for things that you shouldn't take responsibility for, or being your parents' therapist, which is something that a lot of people have went through. And that has no race or anything attached to it, because I've seen people of all types of races, all types of genders, all types of backgrounds have that experience alone. But for him being so young and seeing how his father was, as far as him being very irritable, and seeing how he saw his mom as a source of strength and how he more so sided with that. And that could be because, you think about it, the mom, you tend to be closer to the mom, she carries you. It could be that. It doesn't have to be, or it could just be he saw himself in his mom. Nonetheless, he did point to the fact that having to take sides didn't necessarily help him as he got older in the formation of his character into the person that he started to become to be, until he made the conscious decision to liberate himself and to be self-aware, which led to him being self-assured. But due to his parents and their actions in regards to bringing him up, it did cause conflict that did bring instability into his life. But look at where that brought him. We still talk about him. I remember being in college and learning about him and Sigmund Freud and all of them. And honestly, at that time, I had just started my spiritual journey too. And I was so focused on doing the film and the television and the things that I went to college for. Although I still feel like to this day I should have went to film school, but that's neither here or there, and it's never too late. But I didn't pay too much attention to it, and I did work on it, like when I would read it, do my homework and stuff like that, but I didn't take it to heart. And I really wish I took that first year of college to heart, because I learned so much, especially as I got older. I was like, this is familiar, I've seen this before, I've read on this before, I've done projects, I've done assignments on this before. And he was one of the ones that I did learn a lot about, and we would reference him a lot, and Sigmund Freud as well. And then I have one more quote. The images of the unconscious place a great responsibility upon a man, failure to understand them, or a shrinking of ethical responsibility deprives him of his wholeness and imposes a painful fragmentedness on his life. or fragments. Hold up, we're gonna have to do that again. The images of the unconscious place a great responsibility upon a man. Failure to understand them or shrinking of ethical responsibility derives him of his wholeness and imposes a painful fragment on his life. So with this quote, why I included it, if we're not conscious of the things that cause us pain, if we're not conscious of the things that are holding us back, how are we supposed to move forward if we don't know where to start? And we'll just leave that one there. And you may be asking, how can I work on my inner child? So here are a couple tips and tricks. You can do things that bring you childlike joy: coloring, creating, listening to music, watching shows, movies that remind you of your childhood and bring good memories. Acknowledge and identify your pain. Therapy, prayer, journaling, meditation, exercise, yoga, speaking positive affirmations into the mirror. Write a letter to your younger self. Forgive yourself in your situation, including the people who may have caused you the trauma. And then I'll cite my sources at the end. But I do have another thing to go ahead and end the video with, which is some more steps on how to heal that inner child. And to rediscover our true or real self and heal our inner child within, we can discover and practice being our real self or child within. We can identify our ongoing physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual needs. Practice getting these needs met with safe and supportive people. Identify, re-experience, and grieve the pain of ungrieved losses or traumas in the presence of safe and supporting people. And 4, identify and work through our core issues. And this is a quote from Charles Whitfield. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you. Ciao.